Syria sends their... So this was from January 20th. Syria sends first message to President Joe Biden. Withdraw troops and stop stealing our oil. And here's how Joe Biden responded. Biden takes his first military action in with a serious strike. So that was from the 20th of January. That's from today. Here we go. Biden takes first military action with serious strike. I like how in the picture, it looks like he's describing the weapons they used, right? He's like, the missile was this big, Mac. Want to do push-ups, fat? Look how big that fucking missile was that we dropped on Syria, huh? I dropped bombs on Syria before I even gave our own people fucking COVID relief. That's how crazy we are.
I'm the guy.
I'm that guy. I'm the guy who bombs brown people in the Middle East before I give my own country COVID relief. I'm that guy. Look, how big of a dick am I? I'm this big. Hey, can you raise the minimum wage? No, there's a rule against that. Can we kill other people extrajudiciously and illegally in another country? Yes. No rule. No rule. Hey, by the way, how's that pushing Joe Biden left going, everybody who told me I had to vote for Joe Biden? How's that going? How's that pushing Joe Biden left? So here we go. A war monitor reported at least 22 fatalities in Joe Biden's first bombing. 22. That's like a catch-22. Having a complete corporate coup duopoly of a government. That's the catch-22 we're in. And you actually end up killing 22 people. Isn't that? At 22, it's quite a number. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The operation follows an attack on a location housing U.S. personnel in Iraq that American officials have attributed to an Iranian-linked groups. What? Okay, so we're in a country, we're in Iraq illegally, killing people, occupying another country illegally for natural resources illegally and killing people. And so somebody there killed attacked us there. And so we decided to go kill people in another country, not in the country where the attack happened, and not the country who did the attack. We're going to attack another. That's like when Osama bin Laden did 9/11 and we attacked Iraq. We're going to a totally different country.
I'm noticing a trend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing a trend. Now we get attacked in Iraq. We're going to go bomb Syria. That's quite a wow. Go ahead.
Imagine explaining it to someone who doesn't know we're like this ridiculous empire around the world. It's like, well, there's this one country and we've been doing horrific, shitty things there for like a lot of years. And something happened in this other country that we really wanted to do a lot more shitty things. And we have in the past, but recently we got stalled a little bit because of the pandemic, or we probably would have done more shittiness. So then we did something real shitty in this other country where we did a bunch of other shitty things too. And just Friday, have a nice weekend.
Yes, imagine having to explain that. Earlier this month, rocket fire in northern Iraq killed a contractor working with the U.S. military and injured a U.S. service member. President Biden will act to protect American and coalition personnel. We have acted in a deliberate manner that aims to de-escalate the overall situation in both eastern Syria and Iraq, a Pentagon spokesperson said. So, some rocket hit somebody in Iraq where we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be there. And so we said, oh, well, there's a bomb that went off in Iraq. We're going to go bomb people in Syria. What? Well, that's how it works. And President Biden's going to act to protect American coalition personnel. We have acted in a deliberate manner that aims to de-escalate. That's what you bomb. So you call bombing another country and killing people de-escalating? So that's called bombing for peace, ladies and gentlemen. That's what that is. Bombing for peace has never worked, ever, but we're going to keep trying. Syria condemned the attacks as a bad sign from the new U.S. administration. Yeah. You mean they weren't thrilled about it? Who saw that coming? They weren't thrilled about it. Here's Ben Norton from the Gray Zone. He says Biden is again bombing Syria, continuing the U.S. Dirty. What is that? U.S. dirty on Syria a decade after Obama started it and after Trump prolonged it as well. 3 U.S. presidents over 10 years have waged war on Syria. Also note the vague phrase Iranian-backed. It could be in a variety of different forms. Of course. Of course. Biden is again bombing Syria, carrying on the proud tradition of American warmongering, war criminal, imperialist leaders.
Hooray.
Hooray. Also, Secretary of Defense Austin addressed the Syrian airstrikes. That's the guy who came right from Raytheon. They had to get a special waiver.
Right.
He told reporters, we're confident in the target we went after. We know what we hit. We're confident that target was being used by the same Shia militia that conducted the strikes, and calling today's strikes very deliberate. As opposed to some of those accidental bombings we have. You know, we bomb the world so much, sometimes we just slip and push a button and whoops. But this was deliberate, as opposed to the other ones where we're just willy-nilly firing missiles and killing people. This was super deliberate.
Yeah, I mean, what a press conference. Like, hey, so what happened? Like, what's going on? Like, well, our target, we hit it, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we didn't hit a bunch of other random stuff. I'm pretty sure it was the target. So, well, why was it a target? Like, why did any of this happen? No further questions, but we nailed the target.
We nailed that.
I'm going to happy hour.
Nailed that target. Hey, so is it actually constitutional to bomb another country without an act of war? No, it is not. And by the way, Iran also fights ISIS. Iran also fights ISIL. Iran also fights al-Nusra. And that's who's trying to overthrow Syria. So again, we're bombing at the behest of ISIS. That's who's trying to overthrow Assad in Syria. It's ISIS, ISIL, al-Nusra, the people we're supposed to be fighting against. Iran is also fighting against them. We're now bombing Iran in Syria. Okay, so turns out Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told reporters traveling with him that President Joe Biden's authorized today's airstrikes. It's good to know a demented guy can authorize killing people. He's demented, and he's authorizing killing people in another country. Joe Biden authorized today's airstrike against Syria this morning on his recommendation. Good to know, hey, let's bomb Syria is what's in Biden's ear right now. Tell me again how he'll at least surround himself with the right people. Isn't that what the problem with Trump? He had the wrong people. Joe Biden's going to have the right people. Tell me about how that works. Oh, here's one of the right people. That's the guy. Straight from the board of directors. He got $1.7 million from Raytheon. This guy. The guy who just bombed Syria before we got a COVID check. Before we got relief from COVID. This guy. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Come on. Marcy Winograd tweets, Secretary of Defense who made the decision to bomb Syria, a country the United States occupies illegally because someone, not sure who, bombed a U.S. base in Iraq, another country we occupy illegally. Oh, and where is the AUMF? That's the authorization for use of military force. That was given to the president after 9/11 so he could go fight the people, Al-Qaeda, who did that to us. Is that what they're using to bomb Syria now? Because that's what they use to do Libya, Syria, everything they're doing in the Middle East. They're using in the AUMF. They've not declared war on Syria. So that's an illegal bombing. You're bombing a sovereign state. But the AUMF, I think it stands for Authorization for Use of Military Force. But what it really stands for is adios, motherfucker. And it's the MIC's attitude towards the rest of the world, too. Amy Siskin says, so so different having military action under Biden. No middle school level threats on Twitter. Trust Biden and his team's competence. I thought when I first read that, Ron, she was saying that sarcastically.
No, I did too, actually. I was just going to say that.
And now as I read it right now
was.
during the show, I realize I think she's being sincere.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I thought that too. And then I saw the responses and then I saw like what some other people were saying. And I'm like, okay, I don't think she's being sarcastic.
Is that, what is that?
That's a rainbow flag and a blue check, right?
Is that an LGBT flag she has?
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. So the difference between Trump bombing and killing people and Joe Biden is they do it with an LGBT sticker, right?
I guess so.
What is that? The rainbow flag, right? That's the joke we've been making. That's the joke we've been making at this show.
Yeah, that's the Graham has that bit. He has that bit where he's just like, oh, it's just the drones have a rainbow flag on them or whatever.
That's right. That's Graham's. That's right.
Thing.
Graham's thing. There it is. There it is. Being lived experientially. Such a quiet attack. No drama. No TV coverage of bombs hitting targets. No comments on how presidential Biden is. What a difference. Now, again, the first time I read that, I thought she's being sarcastic.
Me too.
But now I don't know about this. What do you think, Ron?
I mean, I had the same cycle you did. At first, I thought it was totally sarcastic. And then apparently, like the way people were responding, apparently it wasn't. But even just hearing it again, I'm like, it's terrifying that it's not if it isn't. Like, you know,
like that's the way we're supposed to do imperialism. No, we don't tweet about it. We don't make a big deal. We just launch attacks and we don't cover it in the press right. That's all. We don't make a big deal out of it. I hope she's joking. What a difference, Ron. What a difference.
Yeah.
What a difference. She's got to be joking. I'm going to go with she's joking. I think she's on the ball. How about that?
I hope so.
Here's someone who's not. Here's Joe Biden's press secretary. Also, what is the legal authority for strikes? Assad is a brutal dictator, but Syria is a sovereign country. Guess what? When she said that? She said that in 2017. That's Joe Biden's current press secretary in 2017 when Trump was bombing Syria. She wanted to know what was the legal authority to do that. And, of course, Assad is a brutal dictator, but Syria is a sovereign country. That's still the same thing today. And, of course, she doesn't care.
I wonder how she would answer that question.
Of course she doesn't care.
Yeah, what if somebody posed that same question to her right now?
Right?
Yes. I can guarantee you no one is. No one's going to do that. Journalism is not going to break out in the press room at the White House. That is not going to happen.
What if the journalism happens? Well, it's not going to.
What are you doing asking impolite questions in the fucking press room? That's like that. There's no fighting in the war room. Remember that? What's that from Dr. Strangelove? Gentlemen, there's no fighting in the war room.
Yeah, I still need to see that one.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I still haven't seen it.
You'll love it.
It's bad. I know. I got it. It's bad that I haven't seen it. The movie I hear is great. It's bad that I haven't seen it. We've been talking about this for like a year. I know. It's pretty bad. I got to do it. This weekend.
That's worse. That's worse than saying, yeah, I got to get around and listen to that Bob Dylan guy. I heard he wrote some good songs.
Ouch.
I got to get around. You know that Bruce Springsteen guy? I heard some of his old stuff had some meaning, so I'm looking into it. I haven't heard it. I don't have time, but I do have Green Day's total fucking library.
From Dylan to Green Day. All right. No, I know. I got it.
I actually like Green Day. I don't know. They're the only one I could think of. I pulled out of my ass. I actually like Green Day.
It's just an interesting mix. I like them all too. But
Ron, honest to fucking God, I've seen that movie 4 times.
I'm not good with movies. I mean, there will be times where like I'll randomly surprise people. Like I've seen Network a bunch of times, but yeah, I've never seen Dr. Strangelove.
It may be the best movie ever made. On top of everything, it might be the best movie ever made. It's certainly the best.
It's a must-see.
Peter Sellers' best work. He plays 3 different parts in that fucking movie, and he nails every goddamn one of them.
I think Ron can't come back on until he sees the film. I think that's really what it's going to be. What are your avails, and did you watch?
Did you watch Doctor Strangelove? No, I know I need to. It's high. I mean, I make a big list, like, whenever I talk to people, especially, like, whenever I talk to Graham, like, I have a big list of movies I need to see. And it just, embarrassingly enough, it keeps just getting longer. But Doctor Strangelove is very high on that list.
You don't know what you're missing.
Has he seen The Godfather?
Have you seen The Godfather?
Yes. Yes, I've seen The Godfather.
All right, we're just checking. We're just checking our bases. How about Young Frankenstein?
No.
Oh.
No. I know.
Cut his mic.
Cut his mic.
I know it's bad. Like, I'm really bad with movies. Like, I always, whenever movies come up, and like if I'm at like a dinner party or something, like, I just throw that disclaimer out there before the conversation starts. Like, I'm gonna. If you're a big movie person, I'm gonna disappoint you a bunch.
You sound like Nina Turner. I'm gonna disappoint you. So that's Jen Psaki. So that's Joe Biden's frickin' press secretary, completely disagreeing with what Joe Biden and her administration is doing right now. That's kind of amazing. And and by the way, that had 1,700 likes and 1,500 retweets. Is that how many? Wow. I wonder what those people think today. I wonder what those people are thinking today. All those they're all Democrats. So here's a guy named David French. He's the senior editor at The Dispatch. He's a columnist at Time Magazine, and he's the co-host of Advisory Opinion podcast. He's an Iraq vet and married to somebody else. So he tweeted this. He says, if Trump strikes Syria without congressional approval, his Syrian policy will be both imprudent and unconstitutional. Oh, boy, that's weird. He said that in 2018. That's weird. He said that in 2018, and there it is in the National Review. Unconstitutional and imprudent. Trump's Syria policy is a dangerous mess. He can't get enough of it. There it is again in 2018. Joe Biden bombs does the exact same thing. What does he say? Good. Targeting our troops should carry a consequence. Good. These people, I just want to say thank you to David French for making me look like a genius and revealing that people like him are clowns. That's a straight up clown. I'm supposed to be a professional clown. This guy is supposed to be a writer, Mr. Serious person who you're supposed to respect. Would you respect that guy? No. But this is the world we're living in. He's not, by the way, he's not going to pay a price for that. He'll get promoted. He'll get another speaking gig. That's not going to hurt him. Because whenever you show lack of integrity and consistency, but it's for the establishment, you're okay. Like we've said here, if you're going to lie and you lie at the behest of the establishment, there'll never be a price to pay. And, you know, they love, here's
it's day 78 of the Trump presidency. What changed last night?
I think Donald Trump became President of the United States. I think this was actually a big moment because candidate Trump had said that he would never get involved in the Syrian civil war. He told President Obama, you cannot do this without the authorization of Congress. He seemed unconcerned with global norms. President Trump recognized that the President of the United States does have to act to enforce international norms. President Trump realized
So when you bomb another country that you haven't declared war on and you do it illegally, that's called keeping international norms. That's what they're saying, and he's giggling about it. He's bombing without an act of war, without Congress's approval. He's bombing a sovereign country that's illegal, and he's finally president. So just in case you know, the terrorists are us. We're the terrorists, meaning the United States. Joe Biden is the terrorist in Syria today. Joe Biden is the terrorist in Iraq. Joe Biden is the terrorist in Afghanistan. Joe Biden is the terrorist in Libya, Somalia, the Sudan, soon to be Venezuela again. We are the terrorists. FYI. Here's what Kamala Harris said. She said the president needs to lay out a comprehensive strategy in Syria in consultation with Congress, and he needs to do it now. Oh, wait a minute. That was in 2018 when Donald Trump was bombing people. 2,700 likes, 1,000 retweets. I wonder what those people think about Kamala Harris bombing Syria today without consulting Congress and without a comprehensive strategy. I wonder what those people think today. You know they don't give a shit because they don't have any integrity. They had Trump derangement syndrome, and they easily get distracted by the shiny object, which was Donald Trump. And meanwhile, Joe Biden is a war criminal. He's a pathological liar, a war criminal, and an enemy of the workers. And they're okay with it because the media tells them to be. Because the media tells them, because the media says it's okay. And the only time the media was okay with Donald Trump is when he was bombing illegally another country. Here's what Jamal Green says. We didn't flip Georgia blue for Biden to airstrike Syria. We flipped Georgia blue for our $2,000 stimulus checks. Well, good luck.
Yep. You thought you did.
Good luck. That's what you thought. I was laughing. I was laughing. I'm still laughing. Ha, ha, ha. See? Joe Biden is going to start a war before you get your stimulus checks. There it is. Well, first of all, that's from February 25th, so that's not a big, that's not a big prediction.
Now, if that was from 2018, it would have been impressive.
That would have been impressive.
If that tweet was from 2018, they're like, "Wow, all right,
Yeah.
that's a bold prediction."
Wow. Because I didn't even know about COVID back then.
Yep, exactly, man. That's pretty.
Democrats and Republicans both agree that killing people abroad is preferable to keeping citizens alive domestically. Right on, disco socialists. Code Pink says bombing Syria is not de-escalation. Bombing a sovereign country is not de-escalation, because that's what they called it, de-escalation. Bombing an illegally occupied country is not de-escalation. There's no such thing as bombing for peace. And that's what Code Pink says. So there you go. Okay, so everybody who voted for Joe Biden, you got to own it. He's literally bombing a Mideast country before he gets you your COVID check. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.